Hello and welcome everyone. Hi, how are you all? How are you well this week? So here we are another Thursday and we're doing a Major Arcana card again. This time we've got a treat in store for you. It's the Wheel of Fortune, the one that we all want to actually have in a tarot reading. So the Wheel of Fortune. Do, by the way, come and say hi. I'd love to hear messages from you. Please join in, ask questions, ask anything that you actually feel that you'd like the answer to, or give us the answer, as in make a contribution. That would be wonderful to have your company. So, the Wheel of Fortune. Let's bring up our PDF. But just before I do remember you can come on as a guest, and please do subscribe and share this with anyone that you feel would like to know a little bit more about tarot or would like to come on as a guest. So let me give you the link for that, and then we'll go straight into the Wheel of Fortune. So I'm comfortable now. And I don't think we've got any rain tonight. Can people tell me if the sound is okay? Because we had the rain drowning me out the other night, as in you couldn't hear. Good evening, passionate Saji. How are you? Are you well? Hi, hello, hello, hello. Thanks for saying hello. I really do appreciate it when you let me know you're watching. And even if you can't actually join in, it's great if you can send a message or just tell me that you're listening. So, the Wheel of Fortune. And in this card, we're seeing a revolving wheel that represents the wheel of life. Now, this wheel is constantly in motion. And in each corner of this card, we can see 4 winged creatures sitting in the clouds. Can you see that? The creatures in this particular card are yellow, and we meet them once again later on when we look at them in the world card, and that's when they change because they are no longer yellow, they're coloured in. So what's the meaning of that? Well, the creatures in the card represent the 4 elements in the tarot that we encounter in the minor arcana. So we've got that winged angel there, she's representing air, and the eagle representing water, and the winged bull representing earth, and of course the winged lion, which leaves fire. So these figures symbolize the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, which is Aquarius, fixed sign, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. And the books that they are reading contain all that knowledge about their elements and the elements of the other 3. Oh, bless you. Thanks ever so much for that. That's so nice of you, passionate Saji. Sound is good. Excellent. I turned up a little just in case. It really is very, very wintry. Lots and lots of rain. So the yellow that I was talking about in our 4 winged figures indicates that they're mentally working hard to get the information and assimilate that. So they've absorbed lots of knowledge at this stage, and they'll be analysing it and to see how it should be applied in life. However, at this point in the journey, they're not yet qualified because they are yellow, they're still studying, and they don't know enough about each of the other elements to understand. So that's about the air, the water, and earth and fire. So they need to understand everything to be complete as a whole and to be fulfilled within. Hi, Carla. Hi, how are you? Hi. This is absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate people saying hello. It means a lot. I know it's a difficult time. I can't really go out any later here, as in where I live. It is late enough for me. So absolutely lovely. Thank you. So please ask questions, feel free to do so, and do let us know where you're watching from, which part of the world. I can kind of tell at the moment that everybody's that's commenting is actually on YouTube. So welcome. Let's have a quick look. No, we haven't got anybody on Twitch yet, but they may come along later. And the Facebook groups, yeah, a couple of in there, and on my page. Thank you. Welcome. Very, very kind of you to join us. So, the wing figures appear more than once, and as I said, they come up in that final card, which is the Major Arcana. Then they're in full colour, okay? But the meaning of yellow is the fact that they're still studying their own element and the element of the other three. So once they've completed their journey with all their successes and glories, and their ups and downs, and their gains and losses, we'll talk more about that in the wheel, things that they've loved, things that they've lost, and things that they will fully understand, and the lessons that are learned in each of the four elements, then they'll be whole, okay? Hi, Gus, hello, hello. Please do say hi to Gus. It's lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to have your company. So what else have we got going on in this card? So probably, you know, if you looked at this card, you'd say, oh, Wheel of Fortune. You know, rather a nice card, you know. And if you read reverse cards, I'm going to say I don't. There is a reason for that. That's because I use a pair. So there is no need for me to look at reverse meaning, because by using a minor card next to a major card, I have all the information, positive, negative, this way, that way, the other way, okay? Do look at my courses. That's where you'll find out all about this method that would take you up to professional level. And, you know, the information that you would need to give a client if they're a paying client, or if somebody wants to hire you, like I used to be on a platform of premium tarot call readers, psychics, astrologers, and I had to actually be able to give us a very good reading before we would say that they were proficient, or that we would hire them. And if they were coming out with something that wasn't enough, or I think, or no, oh, I don't know, and my guides are telling me this, let me do a meditation while I'm on the line with you. No, you need to be able to answer questions to paying customers. It's not for everybody, but that's my speciality, so that's what I teach. Oh, that's brilliant, Carla. I'm really glad that you're well. Thank you so much for your company tonight. Any questions you have, feel free to ask. Gers, Passionate Saji, Carla. Okay. There's more watching. Say hello. By the way, I am Anne-Marie. I should have said that. You probably gathered that. Tarot Tuition with me, Anne-Marie. And this card, Wheel of Fortune. Well, most of the time you could see it as in it's a card of fate, destiny, karma, kismet, you know, luck. What goes around comes around. And really it just means a cycle of what's going on in life, okay? Anita Gupta, this is tuition. This is not reading. So sorry, that kind of question. Sorry, it's not about that. It's about educational tuition of how to know what a card means for people who would like to read tarot. Sorry about that, Anita. Wish you well. You're welcome to stay and watch if you like. Love to have your company, but I guess if you're looking for a reading, it's probably not where you want to be. But lovely to see you. Thank you very much, my lovely. Okay, so the lessons learned in each element, that's the wheel of life, isn't it? It's really about how we are able to go to a place where we can have our life and our knowledge, and that we are on the cycle of life. So a little bit more about what's in this card and its description. You can see a sphinx sitting on the top of the wheel. And if you look, he's holding a tilted sword. As before in the cards before this preceding the Wheel of Fortune, which is number 10, when we've seen swords coming up, sorry, hi Sherry, I'm going to take a moment. Sorry folks. Okay, Hello, hello. How are you, Sherry? Are you well? Gosh, look at me. Um, the static of the storms and the rain. Okay, so we can see the Sphinx is at the top of the wheel, and that tilted sword represents confusion in his thoughts. I, the person that's having the reading, which we keep mentioning, is called the querent. Okay, lack of clarity. Okay, clouds will cause a lack of clarity. So when you see clouds in tarot cards, it's telling you there is a lack of clarity, that not all is being revealed, but it got the dog's teeth in. It too shall pass, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, things might not be straightforwards, and that's why we've got a slant telling us that in communication, why sword? Because it represents air, and air is the suit of communication. Okay, I think I'm going to try and bring myself in a little bit more light there. Okay, so yeah, it's about the fact that we haven't got the full picture, and that's what that sword is representing, the fact that we are gaining clarity and we are gaining experience, but we have not yet perceived all of this. Okay, so the Sphinx is the guardian of the wheel's wisdom, and that's what it stands for. So there's the wisdom there. And on one side of the wheel, can you see that we've got a snake slithering downwards? Yeah? So we'll talk about that in a minute. And on the other side, we've got, some say it's a red figure, but I would say that's orangey to me. Okay. And that's called the anubis. And the anubis follows the upward rotation of the wheel. So if you look on the right, I'm going to say that dark orange figure, the anubis, follows the upward of the wheel, almost like trying to lift up like that. And the Anubis guides souls from after death into the spirit world. And that's where they are eventually reborn into the physical world again. And this is represented in this card, that life is reborn again from decay and death. So it's little bit of history of what's going on there. Okay, so really representing a cycle of life and change, and eventually that new life will decay and die once more before rebirthing processes again, and so the cycle is continuous. So the wheels representing not just physical life, but every aspect of life. That's the four corners that we've got there with all our winged creatures. We've got air, water, fire, and earth. And the wheel's teaching us the lessons of impermanence, that nothing lasts forever. Life is in constant motion. Okay? And the things that we are experiencing at any given moment is only fleeting in the grand scheme of things. So we cannot stop the wheel of life from rotating, no matter how much we want a particular situation to remain intact or as it is, because the universe won't permit that permanence, and it only leads to your stagnation and lack of spiritual growth. So growth comes about through the cycle of change in our physical, intellectual, emotional, and our spiritual. So to truly understand the lessons of the wheel, we must experience the upward turn of the cycle and its downturn. So what goes round comes round. That is, after all, why we are incarnate. So there is great depth to the Wheel of Fortune, for it teaches us some really tough lessons. Okay. Hands up those that thought, oh my gosh, is there a really bad downside to this? I'm going to talk about that as we go on. If you think most people would say, oh, that's great. It is. It really is. Oh, right. Oh, I'm missing this. Carla You started using 2 cards. Bravo! Wonderful. All you've got to do is have a go, or maybe even go back to one of the videos and copy that if you want to, and see what you get, Why not? And you've only managed 6 pairs at the moment. Only? Wow, that's amazing. Brilliant. Good for you, Carla. No, 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 no. I love the fact that you're working with pairs. For anybody that's watching that doesn't know, Tuesdays, because I do Tuesday and Thursday, I get a bit muddled sometimes, simply because there's so much going on in our lives here. And yeah, I do prepare for it the best I can, but like the Wheel of Fortune, there's ups and downs. So, when Carla's talking about pairs, I teach pairs on my tarot courses, which you'll find on my website. What we're doing is we're teaching you to not just read with just one card. Now, tonight I'm giving you the educational aspects of this card, and I've been at this a very long time, so I'm happy to share what I feel are the most important, in-depth points relating to this card that I can give you on a YouTube video. Obviously, if you go into the courses, each subject, major cards, minor cards, and when I do minor, there is not just, oh, you've got the minor cards. You will get swords on their own, so you can concentrate, 1 to 10. And you say, oh, but what about the court cards exactly? There is a whole lesson completely on the court cards. So you can, if you're curious and impatient like me, and you'd like to go there sooner rather than later, go for it. You choose what order you want to do them in, but you must not just go straight to advanced, because it won't make any sense, because intermediate is part 1 of my method. Okay, and what Carla's saying is she's using pairs. So you've copied one of my videos. Perfect. That's exactly the right way to go about it. Exactly. Because then you can actually go, right, where did this come from? Who, what, where, when, why? What is it? Is it an emotion? Is it a thought? Is it an action? Get used to that, dividing your suits up so you know. Instead of saying to somebody, oh, you're definitely going to do this. That's what tarot readers do. And it's like, I look at the cards and think, don't know where you got that from, as in, because there's no action. Intention is not the same as action. Okay, intention, what are their intentions? Well, that's feeling, isn't it? It's not just always just a thought. Could be both. So, you might need to go, well, I'll look at thoughts and I'll look at feelings for you. And I hope that answers intentions. Intentions are not actions, okay? So, absolutely delighted. Good for you, Carla. Keep up the good work. Absolutely fantastic. Passionate Sagi's saying that she is really bringing her readings into a new dimension, because she was very keen on knowing more about the astrology, and she felt drawn to that. So therefore, she's been drawn to our little channel where we discuss the tarot cards combined with astrology, because if you don't, you're missing out on so much, I tell you. And that would be absolutely awful. We really do need to be able to get as much information. Don't use what you want, but if you've got all the tools, at least you've got your toolkit ready, haven't you, for your customer, for yourself. And you might turn around and use some sometimes and not all of it. But not having a toolkit and having to make do, it can be scary just to rely on your psychic ability, your intuition, your feelings, your guides, all of that. I'm not for everybody, but this is very technical, this is very scientific, and it's based on a lot of research. And yes, of course, intuition and psychic, of course that all came in. But I needed to be able to supply people with readings that they want, not what I want. It's not about, oh, this is your spiritual path. I don't want to know that. Some do, some don't. Most of them, nope, not at all. But it depends, where your platform is. If you're on phones, they don't want to know that. If you're in a mind, body, and spirit event, possibly because they're drawn towards the spiritual aspect. So lots and lots of different things, okay? The readings are starting to make sense. Well, they will, because you're not just going could be, might be, don't know if it's that, should I say that, I don't, I can't, I don't want to offend them. When you, and you're not offending anybody, but when you've got the background, and somebody says, what are they going to do? And you kind of say, right, give me their star sign straight away. There's several ways within my method on intermediate and then the advanced, where you can actually look at that and you can see whether that person's growing, or you can see whether that person is fading, or actually they're never going to do any different, okay? And you could be looking at the person having the reading, or they may be asking about themselves, or they may be asking about someone else, or they may be asking about both of them. And to be able to do that. And I have readings where they will ask about their boss, they will ask about 3 members of staff, they will ask about this person and that person. And I've got to know where I'm looking so I'm accurate. I need to know exactly what I'm getting is accurate for that person. And that's what my method and the courses will teach you. So there is a place that you can look, and there is ways in which you can get that. Incidentally, we can even actually teach you about countries and continents. We can tell you, about air travel, whether it's planes, whether it's local, whether it's long distance. We can tell you whether it's somebody from the past coming back, absolutely from the past. There's ways of doing that. Or whether it's somebody brand new. There's a system. And the system is just like anything, you learn it. But people fail to do that. They go off on, I've taught you the cards and that's it. But of course, my tutorial is about educationally teaching you one card at a time, but then on Tuesdays I show you how to use that card with a little bit of my system, i.e. just using pairs and discussing some of the things that have come up on the courses and how I can help you going forwards. Okay. So as far as the Sphinx is concerned, there is no fortune or lady luck involved in this wheel. So this Wheel of Fortune, when you ride on it, it may be downward or an upward turn. And what this card is about is saying, okay, it's down to you now. You're fully responsible for how you got here and the circumstances that you were dealt and how you manage them. Okay? So no one's saying, oh my gosh, this set of circumstances, how could I have possibly coped? Some people give up. Some people throw in the towel. Some people decide, okay, I'm going to make myself stronger. I'm going to work with what I've got, I saw a video yesterday from a guy who was saying, what are you doing if you're watching TV and you've got no money? Why are you watching TV? Unless it's to educate yourself, to be able to take yourself towards the fact that you could support yourself and learn a way to make money. Very rarely is that on TV. It's much more likely that that's a distraction. Well, Wheel of Fortune, some people just go, oh, well, it makes me feel better. Do you see? It's how you handle it. Or you could be the person that goes, I'm not waiting for anything. I'm in control here, and I'm going to actually hedge my bets, and I'm going to line up 10 ducks in a row, and I'm going to do that, and that. As in, it depends on how you use that situation as to whether you continue to stew in the soup or whether you go into growth. So, no finger can be pointed at someone to blame for the fate of the gods, or saying that it's shining on you or cursing you, whichever it is. You got here by yourself. And the Sphinx is advising you that if you're clever and wise, like I've just said, you should stop and be observant as to how you got here and where you are on the wheel, because it's not by chance, So be it on the upward or the downward turn, it's the right place for you. However, the wheel will be in constant motion, so wherever you are, remember that this time too will pass. Got it out that time. So the wheel will turn once more, and in the now, it will soon be, it's in the past. What's now is the past tomorrow. Okay. So generally and traditionally, this is believed it's a very positive card because changes in circumstances and it indicates the wheel of fortune is upright. So Lady Luck does appear to shine on us. So, ah, well, yeah, linking the astrology to the readings, okay. As you go through the courses and, doing it slowly is important. You can buy them all at once and, just move backwards and forwards, do a few, maybe swords one day, or stick with the swords, finish it, and then jump to, the cups, or you could do a few whatever. Remember when we were doing it, it's the easiest way is really, I say to you, how do I do it? It was, well, the swords are air signs, it's about communication. So I was a little bit rigid and wouldn't move on until I actually knew everything about the swords that I felt was on the course that I was on at the time. And then I would just dedicate it to that and only move on when I felt I'd got it. So, yeah, the astrology is just being able to know your suits, okay? Swords, air. So, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And just keep going until that is there. I mean, there's 12 of them, so it's not easy, but don't move on if you're like me until you've actually got that. And then kind of get it in your head that swords is what we think, it's how the mind works, it's how we think and perceive and converse and how we view reality, but it is not an action. Okay, Carla? So totally get that. But, just keep coming to the lives. Okay, so the astrology on this one is planet. So up to now, we've been kind of talking about Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. And here we are now with a planet, okay? And the planet is Jupiter. So tonight, just think of Jupiter, Wheel of Fortune. I'm sure you've seen wheels spinning on TV programs or, something that would help you. And the wheel is like a mandala. Ah, she's right. There you go. It takes time, is what Passionate Saji's saying. Absolutely. And, do your own sign first of all. We all love our own sign, don't we? Very few of us, don't like it. So, it really does take time. But, Passionate Saji, fire, do the fire signs. Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. Get to know that. And that's the one family. They're the action people. And I bet you any money, Carla, that you're a little fire sign. Yeah. Yep. It's the planet Jupiter. Bang on, Passionate Saji. Wow, 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 wow. It certainly is. Bear with me. Okay. Just trying to move that around. It is. It's the planet Jupiter. So sometimes what we think is good or bad luck is just the opposite, because sometimes it's a catalyst to the other. Okay, so whichever's involved. So you might lose your job and think, oh my God, life's awful, I've not got a lot, no money, it's just dreadful. But now that you've not got a job, although it's not great, at least you can reflect and work out, were you happy with what you were doing in your job? Were you valued enough? And the only value that people can actually put upon our work is quite simply a monetary value. So we're paid enough, okay? So it gives you a chance to say, well, do I actually feel that I was being paid enough for my experience and hard work? And so then you can decide whether you want to start your own business because you've got the time to do it, you've got this vast knowledge, and hey presto, before you know it, A year later, your business is thriving. So what can look like something dreadful and awful could be the very thing that actually brought you to a place where it was truly fantastic. You see, people do things for a reason. Yeah. So you may be really pleased that, life now appears to be going really well. And that downward turn on the wheel was not so wrong for you after all. And you learn loads from your experience. Growth. But what if you're now in that position and you have your own business and you're spending every hour of your waking life maintaining your business? Stress, no social life, maybe the upward turn of the wheel was not so beneficial after all. Yeah? So what the Wheel of Fortune brings is wisdom for you to understand that your own circumstances are constantly evolving and changing. And what started off as something being negative, like the wheel going downward and you losing the job, may not be so bad after all. So remember that at each stage of the wheel, the upward turn will always, the cycle will always go round. So, it'll be your turn soon to be on the up, or kind of, hold on a minute, why am I going here? What do I need to do? What do I need to know? What do I need to do in order to grow? So in life, there's a season for everything, isn't there? There's time to live, time to love, time to work, time to play, time to rest, be happy, be sad, a time to lose, to be young, to be old, and eventually we die. And by the time the four-winged figures featured in our card get to that point in their journey, they're at the world card, which we'll be doing much later on. But they will have got it. They will have absorbed the meaning of all of it, and it's all the four suits. So it'll be their mental, it'll be their emotional, it'll be their physical, and it will be the earthiness of how they are navigating everything and their productivity of being able to make things tangible. So that's what we mean. And there'll be a deep spiritual understanding of the changes that they've experienced. Wheel of Fortune teaches us to be aware of our present circumstances, so that we're looking at patterns and cycles and whether things are going well or wrong for us and what we're learning. And if we don't want these patterns to keep repeating themselves, we've got to figure out how we got there in the first place. Yeah? And that's precisely what the four-winged figures in each corner of this card are learning from their books. And the Wheel of Fortune is teaching us about karma and the cause of effect in our life. So when it appears in a spread, it usually brings up some really positive, strong points as to change in our circumstances. Life is going well at this stage, and there's so much growth and abundance, and we're thinking, oh, everything's going wonderful. And we might be in the right place at the right time. This is a card of being in the right place at the right time. You might be the soul of people's curiosity. People want to meet you. People want to listen to you. Or there may be people around that are just in the right place at the right time. And you just needed that, you needed to hear that. You needed to be with them. They've networked with you, and they're introducing you to the right people that you need in order for where you are in your life right now. So, this is a time when you enjoy this period and you cherish it, and you don't worry, and you look at what you've learned through your experiences and your development and how things are going. So your self-esteem will be on the increase, as long as you are able to thoroughly enjoy that. No effort involved in your part because it's all happening in a good way. But you might be aware of some of the patterns and cycles in life and understand why you are where you are at that time. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune is number 10, and 10 is change, and it holds loads of energy for us. It's all about optimism and purpose and abundance and energy and fulfillment. And it's just a change from one cycle to another, like the suits 1 to 10. But it brings about some form of completion and energy, and continued growth is always possible. Okay. Hi, Tony. Hi, hi, hi. How are you? How you doing? Hello. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for saying hi. Do say hi, everyone. People watching here from uh, all of my platforms. How wonderful. Over on Tarot Mastery, I've got a channel there. Hi, how you doing? Please say hello. And Tarot with Marie and my page. And yeah, I've got a couple of groups. Would you believe that the tarot group is the one that it's the most difficult, as in perhaps because the time difference. But hi, you're very, very welcome. You're good. Excellent, excellent. Nice to see you. Okay, thank you so much for that. I do enjoy people saying hello and your company very, very much. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune is linked to Jupiter and astrologically to all the 12 zodiac signs. So this picture has a sphere with magical symbols and ancient lettering in it. Yeah. And letters on the outer sphere of the wheel are Hebrew and Roman letters. And those letters would spell in Jewish texts Yahweh. Okay. And the Roman letters around the wheel is the Latin name for wheel, Rota or Torah. And Torah is the scroll that's held by the high priestess, yeah? And the letters are placed in all these different points. So if you look at that wheel and you look at the top at 12 o'clock, you get T-A-R-O. So you've also got tarot, if you read it that way. If you read it from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock, yeah, you've got Torah, yeah? And these letters are placed in north, south, east, and west cardinal points. And so there are also some symbols on the inner part of the wheel, and they're relating to alchemy. And so we've got sulfur, which is on the right hand side, Mercury, which is at the top, water that's at the bottom, and salt, which is on the left. Okay. Phew. And the Wheel of Fortune is symbolic of life and its ever changing nature. You know, the flow of life. Life doesn't stay still, does it? And the Wheel of Fortune is at the heart of all change. And it can be transformation in the blink of an eye, good or bad. But the symbols that you see on the wheel are symbolic and indicating that change is everywhere, you know, including the four corners of the earth. Even, you know, the universe, the stars, nothing is static, nothing is certain. And so remember that we've got the four fixed signs of the zodiac on the corners. Again, we've got Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius. And we've got the four elements, and that's relating to the minor arcana cards in the tarot, which are the swords, the cups, the wands, and the pentacles. And so we've got the entire zodiac there. So remember we said they're studying, they're looking at change, and they are yellow because they are in the midst of growth, they're not there yet. And so there's lots and lots of things that's coming up, okay? So top of the wheel, we've got the Sphinx. Let's talk a bit more about that. The double-edged sword, which we said is a slant, and that can really kind of be confusing. But they're also bringing truth and wisdom. That's what the Sphinx is representing. And she's in blue, you see? And that represents faith in our success, getting it right, in a place to be secure, to stay on top. And her sword is also representing logic and brutal honesty. And it can cut both ways, and that's because it's double-edged. And it can separate us from what no longer is ours to keep in our lives. So it's showing that things can go equally well in one direction or not so good in another. And that sword is held at that angle where we may not feel it's emotionally fair or welcoming. And we all constantly wish to be at the top. Of course we do. But it's not always what's going to give us the necessary experience that we need to evolve. You know, and to the left of the wheel, that snake travelling, that represents Typhon, which was a snake that tried to take over the universe and was slayed by Zeus. Okay, and Typhon travelled round the wheel, you know, representing a downfall. And that was due to ego, desire, excessive pride, confidence. And he symbolises the wisdom that can be gained from having the view of who you are or your world completely destroyed. Depends, you know, whether you're going to go for the ego, doesn't it? Okay. So yeah, there is our snake, covered in yellow, also representing intellect, confidence, and the destruction of the mind. And if things fall apart, you know, our beliefs will be shattered. So there's a lot of symbology going on in this card. Okay. I talked about the Anubis, which is a figure on the right, dark orange as I'd like to call it, which is all about regeneration and regrowth. So, what else can I tell you? The blue sky. Okay, right, that's mixed with blue. Blue sky is mixed with grey clouds, and that's the card's duality for good and bad, happy, sad, you know, positive, negative, growth or destruction. And whether it'll bring you sunshine and rainbows or whether it'll bring you storms. So this wheel can move painfully slow sometimes for us and sometimes way too fast, exceptionally fast. Life is a constant cycle of death and birth and big things and small things which affects our very being. So the Wheel of Fortune brings luck, destiny, karma, fate, reminding us that life is sometimes presumed to be controlled, but it's not. It's an illusion. There's a reason behind everything that occurs in life, and every action, no matter how tiny it is, adds to the cycle of cause and effect. So wheels do not turn without applied motion, you see. So we can set up the wheel and equally we can be responsible, or we can allow someone else to spin our wheel, as it were. Okay, so yeah, it can take tiny little motion of days, weeks, months, or decades affecting us. So it's a card of life, luck, and the situation will change. So we're at a turning point, and we need to know that we can achieve our best. And it's a card of life's ups and downs, reminding us that change in life is always bringing, you know, it's always bringing us growth. Whether we choose to look at that, whether we allow those changes to help us move forwards. Everything goes in cycles, good, bad, indifferent, and the Wheel of Fortune shows positive flows with luck and good fortune. So it's a reminder that nothing stays the same, really, isn't it? Everything's on the change, everything. So Wheel of Fortune, when it comes up in a reading, is telling us that a phase in life is starting and an old one is ending. So there's changes going on in our life, maybe tiny changes or as a whole, or within our own individual situations. So maybe tiny, 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 but they can all add up, can't they, in a big old way. So as life moves forward, we should always look to try and work with the hand that we are dealt with. And if you feel that change is necessary, it's an excellent time for you to create that change and follow your dreams. And luck will be on your side, but sometimes you have to make your own luck and you enjoy the benefits of your efforts and your labours. So this is a lovely card, and just a reminder of the cycle of life. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Yeah? Right, have a little think. And here we've got my website. So here are some of the courses that are available on my website. That is the Major Arcana course there, Tarot with Anne-Marie. There's my signature course, which is intermediate. There's the court cards that I talked about. And, look, you can do any one that you choose to do. I've got the advanced one there, which is a continuation of the intermediate. So what is it about? It's about using more cards, more positions, so you get more in depth. Or you can just go for the minor arcana and just study the cups, the swords, the wands, the pentacles, the court cards. Take your time, just what you'll learn from this. This is yours. You can go through this as a can't download it. Just go on my site. There you go. It's yours. Okay. So let's move on to something else that could help. Okay. Maybe looking at the different kind of, you don't want to see my keyboard for my Mac. Okay. Let's put that one there. And then I can fit in. Okay, so these are all the Wheel of Fortune. And they all look different. Yeah? And sometimes the actual card that you use from your deck might just make you go blank. I only have cards that I love, but I've been doing this a very long time. And there's nothing wrong with having a deck and loving it. But if you can't work with it, keep the deck and enjoy it. And eventually, it will come. But also, I also have different decks for different people. Certain people that I read for, I'll read with a certain deck. Why? Because I know it's right for them. And I know that it will provide the kind of things that they are personally looking for. Okay? So, we've got this one here, the Wheel of Fortune, and what this is showing is that this fellow who is in a poor state suddenly has fallen down, and somebody comes along, and it's a king, to help him out, giving him, the opportunity to be friends with the king. So you see there you go, I fell down with a bump and landed up, and I've met royalty and we're friends. So, that's what that particular deck is all about. The Light Seers is a very popular deck and it's wonderful. But again, I would say, as lovely as it is, it's very hard to do a reading with just a few different. Look, I can say, all of this is there, but there's no snake in there, and. Okay, and this one, absolutely beautiful. This is, the Druid deck. Right. Okay. Hold on, one sec. Okay, I've just seen a message come up. It's just somebody on Facebook that's doing their usual. Unfortunately, the world of tarot does attract people, and let's just look at this. I'm going to put it up. Yeah, I've got a message for you. How rude. How rude that you actually hijack someone else's group, somebody else's live, and turn around and it's like walking into Sainsbury's and taking. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say particular shop, but turning around and going, "Don't come in here, come here." And the thing is, if you really think that somebody's going to take notice, inbox me. Why would I inbox you? Please don't do this kind of thing. It makes me sad because I know that there's vulnerable people, and these are not tarot readers. I can tell you that for nothing, because if they were, they wouldn't be behaving like that. They wouldn't be touting for business like that. And they will never DM you, they'll never PM you, they'll never say they've got a message, they'll never turn around and say, I can make your life easier, da 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 da. Yeah? So you see why I go, gosh, please don't let anyone see that and actually fall for it, because no, you choose your own reader, whoever it is that you want. You make sure if you want a reading that you choose that yourself, okay? So yeah, and this one, again, lovely, but look, some strange images. Lovely, but you're not going to be able to read that in quite the same way. And this is the vice versa deck. I absolutely love the fact that you've got a front and a back, but a bit confusing. And yeah, you've got all the symbols there, but there's no snake, there's no Anubis, and that actually looks like the magician to me. It's a bit confusing. I love it, but you see what I'm saying. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. This kind of deck that will actually let you see. We talked about the colours, what it meant. I talked about the number. We talked about the planet Jupiter. All of what the meaning is of the colours, the clouds, the sky, the snake, the winged figures in the four corners, so much. And this is very similar, This is a quirky little deck, yeah? And this is, that's the winter weight, that. Hate that. Really don't like it. No, not me. I let it go because like the rest of the cards, but it's like, ooh, it's a lollipop. It's fun, candy house and all the rest of it. But not when you're trying to learn. It's not helping. It's really not helping. Sorry, I'm not sure if that's helping either. Let me turn that light. Okay. And then this one. I'm actually going to try and zoom that a little bit more. And okay. So that Wheel of Fortune card here. It's lovely, very modern, gorgeous. But again, you are not getting all of that. I'm going to try and bring that brightness down a little bit. You are not, let's do it like that, yeah? You're not going to get all of the depth that's coming in. By the way, the colours are much better. It's just that I've got a green screen. It's not that easy for you to see. But there's some wonderful things going on here. Very modern, He's got a garage. There's the tire. We've got rainbows. We've got the dog. We've got the girl. We've got, the neighbour and the neighbour's car and the young fellow there. He's got a spanner in his hand. We've got angels, But I love it. Absolutely love it. I don't mean, and I show you these decks, and some of them really speak to you for the odd images. But it's like, well, I'm not quite sure what that sort of might help somebody that is trying to learn and know all of this. And you don't have to remember everything I've told you, but it's nice to know it, and it's nice to be able to go, well, why is that there, and what is it telling us? It's all code. That's what it is. What you're doing is decoding it. And if you are only getting half a story and you don't know all of the story because your teacher only said, right, that's it, you know enough, there you go. And I had that over and over and over and over and over. And that's why I kept going. Like, there's more. I know there is. It's really hard for me to get tarot cards, books. I had to go into central London, and I'm talking Trafalgar Square, mysteries, Llewellyn bookshops, It wasn't the days of the internet, the library, and it was like, oh, that book's out. It's booked out for months. You can't get it. Wasn't that easy, but I did a bit of courses work because they were all scattered around London and all up and down the UK. And I was like, yes, thank you, I'm going to that. And even if I'd heard it all before, it reinforced it, it refreshed it, it helped me. The way somebody said it, they'd add a bit, they'd leave a bit out, whatever. And I've just gone, what do you need to know about that card? What you use it? Would you need soul of that in a reading? No. You know, what we're talking about here is, you know that I'll be with you on Tuesday showing you how to read the pairs, okay? And if you get a bit stuck, how about you try, well, you can have a journal. So how about you try, sorry, I'll do this first. Another Wheel of Fortune, and there's some animals, lovely card, you know, she's trying to turn around and tempt her and, you know, gambling and that. Then you've got the Ferris wheel here in this one. This one again is like this one, all colourful, groovy, really lovely, but much better because we've got all the elements going on here. Got the Anubis here, we've got the winged figures here, and we've got the snake, but this time in green. So again, you see, same sort of artist as in with these two. Okay, thought I'd got a third one out. Perhaps not. Anyway, this one, yeah, it's good. It's got a lot of stuff, but, you know, it's not got that depth. And even this, you know, it's not the same as that radiant weight or the traditional weight. This is the borderless stack, and the colours are a bit flat. So, you know, it's what floats your boat. But if you're struggling, it might be the deck. And that's why I show you these. Okay, this was one. This is my creation with an artist back in 2005. We published that as a real deck in 2006. Why did we do it like that? Well, I wanted graphics on a website that actually just explained very quickly on a website. Boom. Yeah, because the more detailed, the more mess. I needed something short, sharp, like graphic design. So that was the reason for that. And because I was lucky enough, while I was doing it, had the artist, had the graphic designer, the husband and wife, and people that actually printed this for me encouraged me to do it because they were clients of mine, and they said, come on, let's do it. What have you got to lose? Never really did anything with it apart from sold decks it shows. It's much harder to do than you would think, but it was nice to have my own copy. Okay, so that's what I want to say to you. So what else have I got for you? What about this? Okay. Right. So this is, yeah, this is a worksheet that just gives you the key points that you might enjoy of the colours, the numbers, maybe yes or no. I've put a little bit on there about reversed if you're interested in that. You know, and that's available as a download from my site. So there you go, there's our Wheel of Fortune. Or you might like this version. And this is, again, a download. So these are keywords. So it's cleaner. What would you like? You know, and these are just, you know, really cheap and under a couple of pounds or under a £5. Okay. So, you know, what, you might want them all. You know, I made them because it's what I was asked for by my clients. And they just wanted different things. So it's like, okay, there you go. So you've got the PDF of the cards that I showed you. You've got this one. Journal. So here's the journal, and I change that all the time. The front cover, I mean, because I've been doing it for a few years now. But people like this because I've put like the full there, a little card and the date, and then you can write. The beauty of that is when you download it, if you need more than one page for the full, and I needed loads, you can just print another page over and over. You don't have to keep writing full continued, okay? So it's not a book. It's actually, you know, you can do it as you want, but just print it off. There's your Magician. So I've done them all for you, look. And I'm rushing through that. Love as a Chariot. I've even done a version, there you go, Death, Temperance, So we'll be here on Tuesday. I want to remind you, as in doing the pairs and kind of how to read it. You see there's the suits, I've done that for you there. Goes through like that, and court cards, you see. Yeah, fun. But you can actually put your notes on it. And again, really nice for you to have, so you can keep everything. And I do keep a journal, as in for tarot, even though you call it that, it's just my notebook. That's what I always called it, but what people are calling it these days. Okay, so yeah, there's your journal. Because again, people said, you know, I've got books and books and books and books and books of it. And absolutely, of course you will. Okay, somehow that just went completely across my face. I wanted to show you the fact that at the end, you know, that I've done a couple of things. I'll get there in a minute. Here you go. There's your keywords like that. I've done different pieces of paper for you, and then I've done it like that. So if you're using a pair that you can write down the actual pair that you did, like that. Can you see? So you can put your major on the left and your minor on the right, and then you can write down your keywords, your thoughts, your meanings, feelings, all of that for you. Okay, so you can, as many as you want, you can print off of that, can't you? You could say, right, when you're printing on page, I think it's page 86 out of 100, oh, I want several copies of that one. So that's why I did it for you. And the beauty is it's yours, and you can keep adding to it and just pop it on your computer as a PDF and do the bits that you want. Okay? Not as a PDF, I did it as single sheets. That's in for you. Okay. No questions? All still there? You are. You're all still watching. Bless you. How lovely. Thank you for staying with me. Hi to those on Twitch. That's the answer. Hi, I can see you there. So, Tuesday, I'll be showing you how to combine the Wheel of Fortune. And, you know, you are going to be in a position to be able to look at the minor cards that will feed in. And we usually ask the work question, but if you've got a question that you'd like answered, we're also quiet. We've not had Zoe around. I didn't like to burden her or ask her along because I know she's been going through quite a lot, as in she broke her arm, etc., etc. So Zoe, if you're watching, hi, wishing you better, and we look forward to seeing you. Okay. Thank you very much, Carla. I think that means, yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you for having me. Thank you for your company. And I'll see you Tuesday at 5 and Thursday at 5 next week for another tutorial on the next card, which will be Justice. But Tuesday is how we will be reading the Wheel of Fortune with other cards and asking questions about that. So I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself and each other. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.